Sydney and I are here today in the kitchen cooking for wellness with a special guest, Gracin Palmer. She's actually my daughter, and often we think about teaching our children how to eat healthy, and I hope I've done that. But she's also sharing some great tips with us today. We're talking about sugar, healthy substitutions. Sydney, give us a little bit about sugar.
Yeah, so there are tons of different types of sugar, and you might see different recipes that mention a date sugar or a coconut sugar or brown sugar or white sugar. And really what it boils down to is sugar is sugar is sugar is sugar is sugar. It doesn't matter what you call it, if it's a syrup, corn syrup, if it's a different type of healthier sugar, it's still going to metabolize in your body the same way. So what we end up having here is, this is the amount, which is about 6 teaspoons. We should be consuming 6 to 9 teaspoons. Men get to have 9 teaspoons, women and children get about 6 teaspoons of sugar a day. So this is the amount we should be consuming. And what we find is that Americans are consuming this much sugar, which is about 26 to 30 teaspoons of sugar every single day. So that is a lot more that we're consuming than we should be.
And I've got to also add, if you have about a 24-ounce Coke, hold up that big bag. That's about as much as in a big bag, one big Coca-Cola. And in a 20-ounce Coke, it's 17 teaspoons of sugar.
Yeah.
I don't have my bottle with me, but I love showing that. But all of a sudden I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, if you have a bigger one, a big gulp, that's about how much sugar in one Coke, and you haven't even had a bite of food for your day yet.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind as we're choosing our food choices throughout the day and our beverage choices as well, because that starts to add up.
Yeah.
And that is where we get to this and even more in our consumption every single day.
So, thinking about the sugar, we're keeping it in mind, and then we're talking about other healthy substitutions, because sometimes we just need a cookie. And we're trying to have our cake and eat it too, really, is what we're doing today. So we're making cookies, and we've got some healthy substitutions that Gracin has shared with us. So Gracin, tell us a little bit about what we're making.
Yes, so like my mom said, we all love our little chocolate chip cookie. We always have that sweet tooth, and we gotta satisfy that. So I was lucky enough to come across this recipe from a girl that I follow on Instagram. Her handle is Kale Junkie.
Shout out.
And she was talking about these life-changing tahini chocolate chip cookies. And I was like, tahini, that sounds so strange. But
It really does.
I love chocolate chip cookies, so I decided to give it a shot, and I'm glad that I did, because these are truly the best cookies ever. They're chewy, and you wouldn't even know that they were made with, you know, healthier ingredients or less ingredients than the average chocolate chip cookie.
Truly life-changing.
Truly. So we have almond flour, tahini, maple syrup, these chocolate chips that are dairy-free. Actually, the brand is Enjoy Life, and they taste just like real chocolate chips, in my opinion.
And actually, you had another chocolate chip, right?
Yes, there's another good chocolate chip option called Lily's chocolate chips, and they're sweetened with stevia. So just another healthier option for chocolate chips that really taste the exact same to the option that we're used to with our normal chocolate chip cookies. So we start with a cup of almond flour.
And this is a nice substitution for white flour. No white flour, no white sugar in this recipe.
And then we do a cup of tahini, which is just sesame seed, mashed sesame seeds. I have used other nut butters. I've mixed the tahini with almond butter or peanut butter, or just done just plain almond butter or peanut butter instead of the tahini, and they taste just as good. I usually just like to do the tahini.
And usually tahini, we put it in hummus with chickpeas.
It's just sesame seeds and olive oil that's blended together. So very simple ingredients for that.
And then we put in, so a cup of the almond flour, a cup of the tahini, and then half a cup of maple syrup.
That is our sugar substitution.
And then last but not least, I would argue the most important component, the chocolate chips. And then we just mix it all up. And sometimes I like to add like a little bit more almond flour depending on the consistency of your tahini.
Yeah, this is pretty runny tahini. Where did you find this?
I found this in Walmart. It's right next to all the peanut butter and jam. You kind of have to look. It's on one of the top shelves, but it is there. So you
Nice
mix
to know.
it really nicely, and it becomes just like the consistency of regular cookie dough. And then the key is to let it sit for 30 minutes in the fridge. So just with those ingredients, let it sit in the fridge for 30 minutes.
That's really key, isn't it? I'm pretty impatient, and I think I tried to make. I'm not a very good baker. I love to cook, but my impatience, it doesn't work. It really needs to sit, and I think that's the key to making these cookies so delicious.
Yes, and then after you let it sit in the fridge for 30 minutes, you take it out, and then you add 1 egg and a teaspoon of baking powder.
There we go. And we're going to crack that egg in there and add a little baking powder. And interestingly enough, and we'll have the recipe posted with this, it called for baking soda, and we didn't have any, so we're using baking powder.
Again, I've used both baking soda and baking powder, and it usually turns out just fine. So then you want to preheat your oven to 350, and I like my cookies a little chewier, so I like to cook for about 10 minutes so they're a little soft. Don't worry, the egg will still cook.
Voila, voila.
They're truly life-changing.
Yeah, they really are.
They look
I just want you to
beautiful,
see how
yeah.
beautiful they are, and they are delicious.
And some other really tasty substitutions we were talking about, if you didn't want to do maple syrup or even an egg, you could do unsweetened applesauce to add a little bit of natural sugar. We also mentioned banana, so you
Right.
can use a very ripe banana and mash that up, or even if it's frozen, heat it in your microwave and mash it up that way, and you could add that as a substitution for the extra maple syrup that you are adding here.
Also for an egg, if you're a vegan and you don't want an egg in it, the applesauce worked for that. So you just leave out the egg, leave out the maple syrup even, and do the applesauce.
So lots of options here
Yeah.
to make these healthier chocolate chip cookies.
I want to try both, applesauce and banana. I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
Peanut butter. Yeah. Life-changing tahini chocolate chip cookies. Thanks, Kale Junkie.